Point, correct?
Right. We have offered James lots of work before. We're a very good company that treat all of our freelancers and staff very well.
Well, apart from the fact that in this instance,
yeah,
you haven't paid him.
Right, exactly. So I expected him to sort of have a bit of compassion for us and the relationship that we have together.
You seem angry you've been brought to court, frankly.
Well, I don't know why I have been brought here. You know.
You haven't paid him! Voila! What's difficult to understand about that?
Because
I've not been paid. I sue you. What's the hard part?
What's
the hard part?
So Your Honour, please understand, I'm a businessman, right? I create jobs for people. I treat them well, and I've created jobs for James and his...
Well, you've not created jobs. If they're not being paid, they're not jobs. They're upmarket experiences.
It's a job. It's payment that I'm chasing for, and James has been included in various emails. He knows I'm working on it, and there are also...
So you say, in addition to your defence, that he should give you more time to be able to go and recover this money from the third party?
Most definitely.
Your Honour.
Yes, but...
Can I interject? Basically, at the time, we were all said that we were going to be paid by a set period in time. James paid me within the period of time.
You're a subcontract. Bo, that is a very good point. It's very rare I give, don't worry, hand down, but it's very rare I give people that compliment. Even though James hasn't been paid, James paid Bo in any event, correct? You paid him? Why did you pay him when you haven't been paid?
That day, I had the money in my bank account, so really and truly, I had been promised to be paid at the end of the month. I was expecting it to come out. I thought, he's only freelance for 2 days, let me pay him his money quickly, it will come at the end of the month.
The right thing to do, in a nutshell, yes? Now, Chide, James, the two of you had a good professional background before. You're close friends, right?
Yeah.
So, James, and I'll ask you, Chide, what's this done to your friendship?
Well, I mean, I don't want to sound bitter, but
why not?
Because that's not really my style. I know it doesn't sound the most best trait, but really, in the period where I was waiting to
What's it done to your friendship? Just think, I know you're an editor, do some editing.
He went on holiday without me.
You are bitter.
He went to Brazil. He went to Brazil in the period that he was meant to be paying myself. That's a...
You feel angry about that because you say, had he had the money to do that, he could have had sufficient funds to pay you. What do you say about that?
Please understand that, like I said before, you know, I'm an ambitious businessman, and that trip to Brazil was definitely on business.
He's going to Las Vegas in a week.
That can't be true.
I saw it on social media.
Is that a business trip as well?
That is a personal trip.
Is there any sense in your mind that you feel maybe that's a little bit wrong, bearing in mind this friend and colleague of yours is owed £3,500?
Well, what you have to understand is...
No, you keep telling what I have to understand. What do I have to understand?
You know, going back to what you were saying before, I know that James paid Bo £400, that's correct. We owed them £3,500, and we're a company with overhead costs.
And where there are overheads in a business, your subcontractors should simply understand they might not get paid. After all, it's very difficult running a business.
Due to our long-term relationship, I would expect him to understand the ups and downs.
James, what would you like to say?
Well, I would like to say, personally, I don't feel like I should understand in this situation. It seems like you're having a great time in, you know, owing our company this money, and you seem to be able to pay it if you can personally go on holidays yourself and book future holidays. So being some contracted work, I thought he should be honourable. And
these were holidays that were booked in advance.
Chide, you run a successful company now. And by and large, it's a company which provides a service which has been popular. And you have a number of blue chip clients. And I wouldn't want anybody to look at this case and come away with the view that you are anything other than a company which in the ordinary course does what's promised.
Correct.
However, it's a very simple case. Because James You had a contract with G-Day. You didn't have a contract with a third party. That this third party didn't pay you, in a nutshell, is your fault and your problem, regardless of the fact that you've got other issues with your business. You have to pay your subcontractors because you've got a contractual obligation with them. Now, James, had he not said to me today that he accepted that he owed you £3,500, you may have been in real difficulty, because you also haven't behaved in the most commercially sensible way by not having a written contract. As a result of what he says, I have no difficulty at all coming to the finding that you're entitled to the full amount of your claim, which is for £3,500, especially given the amount of work you did. That being said, moving forward, if you're sensible about business, you get things down on paper. That's the award of this court, £3,500.
James won his case and was awarded the full amount of his claim. Let's find out how both parties felt about their day in court.
I do think it was a bit extreme for you to bring me to court. You know, I feel like we could have tried to settle something outside. You're obviously aware that, you know, I'm chasing this client. They're being very difficult to, with us, and they owe us a large amount of money.
You know when somebody's looked at your message, you know when they're avoiding you, you see them posting pictures online, social media. It's very hard to be, you know, under a rock in 2015.
These are business trips, and these were personal trips that were booked beforehand, way in advance of any of this delayed payment.
When I saw the Brazil pictures online, and then I'd actually been waiting to get any sort of reply or a check or some sort of, you know, a phone call. He seems to be quite straightforward. Now I've seen him, so I must say the future probably does look promising, and I will definitely be handing him some good paperwork.
The future for myself and James, I think, definitely still holds some great collaborations and tighter contracts.
Michael is in court to claim £100, which he says is owed to him after his friend lost a bet. Defendant Thomas says he was intoxicated and doesn't remember making the bet. Therefore, he owes nothing.
Is it Michael?
Yes, it is, Your Honour.
That's a relief. I thought I had a young Alan Yentop for a minute. And Thomas.
Yes.
And the two of your friends, correct?
Yes.
Now, Michael, who are you with today?
I'm here with my brother David.
Hello, David. How are you?
Wonderful, thank you, Judge.
Do stand up. Thank you for coming. I'm going to seek your assistance, two steps forward, in order not just to present the Open University on BBC Two late at night, but also to assist me in due course with some of the substance of this case, because it requires a mild degree of expertise. Understood?
Yes.
This is a case which, although not worth very much, is fundamentally a case of principle. Isn't that right, Thomas?
Yes.
That's certainly true as far as you're concerned, Michael. Now, what's that a picture of, please, Michael?
That is a picture of the three of us playing each other competitively at the game Mario Kart. A kart racing game.
Right, okay. And how long would you be sat playing that?
An embarrassing amount of time.
Point of it is that at some point you were outside, which is an unusual moment for all of you. In fact, you visited the Glastonbury Festival, true?
That is correct.
You were having a marvellous time. Were you listening to the music, or please don't tell me you took one of these games consoles along with you to the Glastonbury Festival?
I wish. There's no way to plug one in, I don't think.
Right, well that's good. So you were in the tent together and having fun. And at some point, there was discussion about a particular game. What was the game, please, Michael?
The game was Dark Souls.
Now, you know about this game, do you?
Of it, yes.
Of it. What's special about this particular game?
It's incredibly difficult.
Well, what do you mean by it being difficult?
It takes a lot of dedication and learning and commitment of time
What exactly, as far as you are aware, is involved in it, David? Do you know about it?
Yes, because I had been playing the game. I've been playing through the game.
And had you finished it?
No.
Now, you're having this discussion. You were aware it was very difficult. So as I understand it, Michael, you made a suggestion to Thomas, did you not?
I believe that David was talking about how difficult the game was. Thomas was fairly merry at this point in the festival.
Well, fairly merry is a euphemism for what?
Drunk?
Drunk. How many had you had to drink, would you say?
I've absolutely no idea.
That's probably the right answer. Certainly enough that he was inebriated, yes? Had you been drinking too?
I believe so, yes.
And there was a discussion, and what was the nature of the discussion, Michael?
Thomas said, I could do that, that's very easy, I'll be able to do it on the hardest difficulty setting. Trash talking, basically.
Doing what?
Trash talking.
Like being cocky?
I can do it.
Oh, I see,
Easy.
being cocky. Point of it is, as far as you're concerned, he was trash talking. There you are at the Glastonbury Festival, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Having a marvellously splendid time.
He forgot to put suntan lotion on.
Who did?
Tom.
Well, it usually rains there. That's perfectly reasonable. Why, how is he burnt?
Yeah, he's bright red.
Well, I was going to say it's more of a sort of orange hue. It looks like a sort of, I don't know, a sort of in-betweeners tribute act. I used to do international law, you know. So there you are. You say to Thomas, you can't finish this because it's terribly difficult, and you say, okay, let's have a wager, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the basis of the wager?
The basis of the wager was that if he was able to do it within a year, at the next Glastonbury Festival, he would have to pay £100 for me and my brother to go on a bar crawl around all the various establishments at Glastonbury, and he'd have to watch us as we had a great time, and he sat there miserable that he didn't fulfil the bet.
A marvellous bet. Now, ordinarily you would know that that wouldn't be enforceable, but you attempted to do something, as I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
You drafted some kind of agreement, am I right?
Yes.
Have you ever seen this document?
Yes.
I will finish the game before the next Glastonbury, or I will pay David £100. And it's got your name, 2014 Glastonbury, and it says you have 101 days left. Referring to you, correct?
Yes.
When this document was prepared, did you sign it?
No.
Were you drunk when it was prepared?
I didn't even say that.
Well, what exactly did you say?
Well, I certainly didn't say that.
Well, what did you say?
Michael or David, when they were discussing about this game, they said, oh, I bet you can't finish this game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, me being quite intoxicated, a bit of misplaced arrogance, said, yes, I can. And then they mentioned that bet and thought, okay, I'll shake on that. But then I totally forgot about it. Even David, who I shook the deal with, he forgot about it.
Who reminded you of it?
The ambulance chaser, Michael.
The what?
The ambulance chaser.
What do you mean he's an ambulance? Is he a lawyer?
Because the bet is between me and David. Michael intruded. He had nothing to do with this.
Is that right? Was the initial agreement between you and him?
I can confirm that, yes.
Right, okay. So why are you getting involved with this, Michael?
Because I believe that the bet was for both of us. He said he would pay because David
So you were going to be a beneficiary?
He wouldn't be able to have £100.
Who drafted this, you or David?
I put together that document.
Right. Not the person with whom the initial deal was made.
They forgot the bet had even happened.
Just wait a moment, I'm about to turn around and say something to you. You're still here?
Coming next.
Within the universe of the game, though, you need lots of armour to withstand the threats that you face. He would get hit and die.